Good evening, watchers, or good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. I don't know about you, but over here in Germany, it's quite hot right now. And I thought, why not show you something even hotter today? We are taking a look at Orchestral Foundations, recorded in Abbey Road Studios by Spitfire Audio. The product's called Abbey Road One Orchestral Foundations. And this is a real banger of a library, let me tell you. It's awesome, it's huge, I like to work with it, and it's fairly accessible. And we will get into this in just a sec. But before we go on, did you know that I'm on social media, especially on Twitter? I'm kind of active there. I'm talking about all the stuff that I'm doing, like the covers that I'm working on right now. I'm talking to other people, like to my watchers, and that's basically all I do. And I have fun over there, and you can be part of it by just checking out the link in the description, following me on Twitter, and send me a tweet, let me know that you're there, and we can get in contact and everything. But now that that is out of the way, let's dive right into the video. Let's get the boring details out of the way first. This product usually comes at €4.49 and dollars, I think, and it is an orchestral library, but not one of the every instrument or every section at its own kind of library, but it's already giving you some useful combinations at hand, which you will most likely combine anyway. And it's claiming to give you the Abbey Road One, the famous Abbey Road One sound, that is. It's recorded in this great studio, which is just awesome. It has this huge sound and it's processed by the usual FX chain that they usually use within Abbey Road One. And that's not all. They also released some additions to the library, which are called the Abbey Road One Selections, which usually combine even further things, like instead of combining instruments from the same section, like Abbey Road One Orchestral Foundations contains brass combinations, string combinations, and woodwind combinations, but the selections also combine between the different sections. Like, how would it sound if you combined a woodwind with, for example, a tuned percussion element like a xylophone or a celeste or something? That's what the selections do. And those are actually kind of on the cheaper side for Spitfire audio terms, and they come at $49, I think, per selection. If you want to get all of those at once, like the entire Abbey Road One Orchestral Foundations base package plus all the selections, then you can get the Abbey Road One, the collection, for $5.89, I think, which will contain all of that. In terms of accessibility, we've kind of a mixed bag here, because every single product is basically independent, apart from all the things that come with the Orchestral Foundations package. All the selections are basically individual products, and thus they kind of messed up with some of those. Almost all of them are NKS compatible. Almost, because one or two of them actually are lacking the NKS patches. They just forgot to provide them. I'm not entirely sure. They just don't show up in Complete Control, which is kind of a problem. I'm not entirely sure which packages those are. I'm not entirely sure, but I think Thematic Trumpets is one of the things that don't show up by default in Complete Control. And we also have a problem with some of the patches, some of the selections, and maybe even the Abbey Road One Orchestral Foundations themselves. They mapped all the microphone positions via Complete Control, but they messed up the mapping somehow. So some of the microphones are actually mapped the wrong way. You basically have access to the main mix, but all the other microphone positions are mapped the wrong way. So there's no way to actually control those. But here's the good news. If you load them up directly within Reaper, Then you can control everything via the Osara parameters list. The microphones, the vibrato, everything there is easily controllable and clearly named within the Osara parameters dialog. The only downside is that you need sighted help to do this once, or you need Reaper track templates. I do have those. I created them myself with a lot of sighted help. I'm not entirely sure if I want to offer them yet, because I'm not entirely sure if they are doing what they're supposed to do. They're working fine for me, but I think I did some, messed up some configurations here and there. But I will let you know as soon as I'm ready to offer them to you, and you will be able to get them. Another great advantage over the Contact libraries is that it's a dedicated plugin, which has advantages and disadvantages, obviously, but it has the same advantages that BBC Symphony Orchestra has, which I already created a video about. It's not a Contact. You don't need the free Contact player, you don't need the full Contact version. It's basically, you buy it and you're good to go. Instead of buying one of the Contact libraries that Spitfire also got great libraries for Contact. But for those, you usually have to buy the library from Spitfire, and then you sometimes need to pull the full Contact version as well, which is, yeah, you don't need to do this for Abbey Road One. It's basically buy once and you're good to go. Another downside though, but this is the default with other Spitfire products, you have to go through the Spitfire audio installer, which is kind of a thing because it's not accessible. You have to fiddle around with OCR and everything. That is kind of a struggle to deal with. I heard that Spitfire are already working on a new launcher, a new installer for their products, which might be more accessible. But for now, you have to work with the installer that you got, and there's no way to circumvent that as far as I know. I've heard that you can contact their support team and ask for remote support, and they will get into your system via TeamViewer or some similar software and install the library for you if you want that. I haven't tried this myself, but I heard that they would do something like that. So if you need help, be free to contact them and see if they can help you. But now to the sound. So some patches have those articulations, others have that articulation, and they especially differ from selections to selections. I will go through the entire lineup that is available right now. From time to time, they even publish new products, like a new extension, a new selections thing, and I don't know if the collection with all the products even increases in price when they do so. I'm not entirely sure, so don't name me on that, but the base package, the Orchestral Foundations, will definitely stay at $449. Okay, let's begin with the brass section, and we've actually 3 brass patches here, and we will start with brass horns. Let's go through all the articulations and play them real quick. We actually got some useful articulations here, so let's start with the longs. So as you can hear, we also got the dynamics control via modwheel, which is the usual Spitfire stuff, and it's working just great. We also got staccatissimo. We got short marcados. Short tenutos. Short, long, and medium swells. Let's continue to the low brass, which is a combination patch, and we'll combine all the low brass instruments. Let's see which articulations we've got here. We do have longs, short staccatissimo, short marcatos, short tenutos, and the same short, medium, and long swells. All of the articulations, by the way, can be found on the Spitfire Audio website for the corresponding product. So feel free to check those out for a comprehensive list of all the articulations. If you need an overview of all the articulations for different patches or for different selections or whatever you want, just go to the Spitfire Audio website linked in the description below and you will find everything you need. And the long brass section within Orchestral Foundations is the trumpets. Let's go to the longs. To the short staccatissimos, to the short marcatos, to the short tenutos, short, medium, and long swells. And that's all for the brass section. Let's continue to the strings, especially to the patch called high strings. Let's check out the longs. We've got long consordinos. tremolo, short spiccatos, we've got short pizzicatos, but then again, high strings always require a low string section to go with them. So here we go with the low strings low. Here we've got the long concertinos. Tremolos. Short spiccatos. Short pizzicatos. And that's all about the strings. Let's go up to the higher sections again. And this time the woodwinds. Kind of obvious, right? Longs. But what about short staccatissimo? Short marcatos? Short tenutos? And similar to the brass, we've got short, medium, and long swells. And to the high woodwinds, you also got low woodwinds longs. Staccatissimo. Short marcados. Short, medium and long swells. And we have got several percussions as well. Let's start with the drums. We've got soft booms, bass drums, Verdi drums, toms, bass and snare, toms and octobands, snares alone, and octobands on their own. And piccolo snares. Then we've got metal percussion. We've got a piatti, suspended cymbals, a tam-tam, ribbon crashes, an anvil, then we've got some tuned percussion, a glockenspiel, a xylophone, timpani hits, and then we've got entire ensemble patches, where we've got the full ensemble, which is basically a patch with all the ensembles in one patch. We've got the entire drum ensemble. Got the entire metals ensemble. And that's all about the percussions, but we also got a patch for the entire orchestra in one single patch, which is basically all the common articulations amongst all the instrumental sections like strings, brass, woodwinds, laid out in one patch, and all the different patches are basically mapped to the corresponding ranges in the one patch that we have. Longs. Short staccadissimos. Swells, mediums, and longs. And that is all there is to play for the Orchestral Foundations package, but we can now get into the selections. And one thing the selections do is they introduce legato patches. So as you might have noticed, the Orchestral Foundations don't have any legato patches. They usually come with longs and staccatos and everything, but they don't have legatos, and the selections do have legatos. But then again, they combine several interesting sections together to get a specific sound out of them. Let's start with the very first one alphabetic-wise, which is the Grand Brass. And this one has a legato patch. We have longs here, of course. Staccatos. Tenudos. Short swells. Medium and longs. And we also got an additional soaring legato patch, which sounds like they actually mixed a bit of strings into this to make it sound more soaring. And addition to all the legatos, we also got the usual long patches. So we have got soaring longs as well. Let's continue to the next selections, which I've used quite extensively over the last year. I like this very much. I just got 4 articulations, but that's actually kind of neat and enough for this, what this selection aims to do. It's called Legendary Low Strings, and it got this legato patch, what they call Epic Legato. Let's listen to this. We've got longs, obviously. Staccatos. Spiccatos, which is even shorter. And that's all it does. And here we've got something more interesting, which is not something of the usual. Like, you know, we've got epic, monstrous legato low strings, which is epic and huge, and you definitely need those. But here's something more experimental. Here's something called Mysterious Reeds, which actually contains a few different patches and a few different combinations of reed instruments, especially woodwinds. Let us start with 2 oboes plus 2 clarinets legato. And there are longs for every legato. So we've got 2 clarinets and 2 oboes longs. And then we got staccatos. Two clarinets plus 2 bassoons, mysterious legato. Obviously, we got mysterious longs. Staccatos. And that's it. Sparkling woodwinds. And I've mentioned this in another video that I did on one of the stingers that I've created. You can find this in the info card and in the video description below. And this is basically the combination of some woodwinds with some other instrument. Let's see if you can figure it out. Let's start with the sparkling legato. It's a Glockenspiel. That's really great. We've got longs. Staccatos. We've got the newest addition to the bunch, which is Thematic Horns. Let's go with the performance legato. We also got a lyrical legato patch. Longs, obviously. Longs versando. Staccatissimos. Staccatos. Tenudos. Marcados. There are 3 more libraries to go. This one is Thematic Trumpets. And this one does have a usual legato. Longs. Sforzando. Staccatissimo. Staccato. Tenuto. Marcato. The next one would be the legato for the vibrant reeds. longs. Staccatos. Vibrant legato. Vibrant longs. Vibrant staccato. Mordant minor second. Mordant minor thirds. Mordant major thirds. And last but not least, we've got the selection's Wondrous Flutes. We also get longs. Got staccatos. Maricados. Mordant minor seconds. Mordant major seconds. And mordant major thirds. And that's all there is to say about the sound of this library or all the libraries. One thing that needs to be said is, though, that Orchestral Foundations and all the selection libraries are basically independent. You don't need to own the Orchestral Foundations in order to get one of the selections libraries. They are totally independent, come with totally new samples, and you can just buy one selection library that you like the most and, don't need to get the entire Orchestral Foundations or all the other selections if you don't want to. The Orchestral Foundations, the big package, is currently at about 60 gigabytes. The different selections, though, differ in size. They don't come at a, common size or something like that. The entire complete collection, however, is something about 120 gigabytes in size, because you got these huge amounts of microphone positions that you usually get from Spitfire, where you can mix and match and basically do what you want with the samples and choose the microphone position that feels right for you into your mix. So this goes at about 121 gigabytes. And that's another video done. Thank you for watching until the end. And now that you've heard the sound and you know about the accessibility, keep in mind that you cannot access everything via complete control. Keep in mind that some of these selection patches even don't have complete control support. So if you have cited tape available and want to use a service like IRA or something like that, then I can definitely recommend this library to you. It's kind of expensive, but don't forget that if you are eligible to get into the Able Artist Foundation, which is a foundation that supports blind people, then you can get a 50% off discount at Spitfire, and you can get the entire collection or just one or few libraries of those for basically 50% off. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. As I said in the intro, feel free to follow me on Twitter, or, do the usual subscribe thing. Leave me a comment in the comment section below the video. Get in touch, tell me what you think, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and stay hydrated. Bye bye.